The question I'm asked most frequently is for advice on realism and creating realistic builds in Planet Coaster. Well, can you believe it? I've only gone and made a ruddy video about it. Because realism is such a broad area, I've separated it into sections. Today, we're going to be talking specifically about buildings. My first piece of advice when it comes to building a realistic park is to plan. Think about drawing up a rough layout of where you'd like everything to go. Remember, Planet Coaster only simulates a fraction of what's needed to run a real theme park. In reality, you would have gardeners, maintenance, marketing, accounting, HR, and so many more. All of these people need their own tailor-made space to suit their needs. If you're like me and not too fussed about faffing with interiors, that's fine, but make sure the building is big enough to house all of the people and facilities needed. The same goes for toilets, hotels, and restaurants. There's no sense in wrapping them in a one-grid space and calling it a day. Try to imagine how big each building would be in real life. Do you have somewhere to receive deliveries, a warehouse, a refuse and recycling area? Have a long think about every department of a theme park and the size of the team based on your park's scale. Once you're done planning, it's time to build. My top piece of advice when it comes to building is to use reference imagery. When it comes to recreating something in Planet Coaster, what's better than just copying the exact thing you're trying to build? The construction of this office building isn't from my own imagination. I'm literally taking this reference image from Google and replicating it. The only challenge from that point is finding the right parts for the job. We have concrete and metal walls, and that's easy. The cracks in between wall pieces are easily achieved with the thin edge of panels, and those white squares, just basic shapes. With the wide range of items available in Planet Coaster, plus the thousands of TMTK items, anything is possible. Buildings are very rarely perfectly square or rectangular. Take a look on Google Maps at some buildings from above. They have all sorts of odd angles and bits jutting out. Planet Coaster's grid system doesn't make this easy by any means, so be ready to separate your building into different groups or use non-grid items. Whilst the in-game brands are great, think about bringing in some real-life franchises. Maybe your park has done a deal with Coca-Cola or Starbucks. Anything from a vending machine to a full-blown restaurant. I'm going to be honest with you, when it comes to adding details to your builds, TMTK is your best friend. Sorry, console players. A great method I use for adding detail to any building is to think about fire safety. How many fire exits do you need and where? Do you have plenty of fire exit signs? Think about adding fire alarm push points, fire extinguishers, and so on. Whilst you're thinking about the interior, what about power outlets, posters, furniture, and electrical cupboards? As for the exterior, the list is vast. Have a think about guttering, ducting, air conditioning, electrical cabling, and CCTV. If your building is old, think about adding some of Fiorana's TMTK dirt decals. Finally, if you watch my British Park series, you'll know I love some clutter. Consider adding some bin stores, maintenance yards, even some smoking areas. Overall, it might seem obvious, but the best advice I can give is to take from real life, and think as literally and practically as you can. If there's a light on the wall, how is it powered? How does your chicken shop get its chicken? To see an ultra-realistic, low-budget park built from scratch, check out my A Very British Park series by clicking the card in the top right now. Next time, we'll be talking about how to add that touch of realism to your coasters. See you then, and don't forget to leave a like if you found this video helpful.